Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome back to writing composition class. I hope that you had a great weekend and that you are feeling ready to take on the new week. We are in week 5. Today is April the 26th, and we are going to start on our next prompt. Make sure you have your packet out that says week 5 at the top, and also make sure you have something to write with and a highlighter. Okay, so today we will receive a new prompt, shape the prompt, and we will begin brainstorming a topic. So let's go ahead and start off with our objective. Get ready. Students will be able to begin brainstorming on a new expository prompt. Alright, so it's pretty straightforward. We're going to start with our new prompt, just like we have been every week on Mondays. We start fresh with a brand new expository writing prompt. So before we begin, let's do a brief refresher on Go words. So Go words are the part of the prompt that tell us to go and do something. They are action words, which are also called verbs. Verbs show action. And so usually when you're looking at an expository prompt, the verb is the go word. Sometimes, and I'm just saying that sometimes the charge word can also be an action word or a verb, but you will certainly know the difference between the go word and the charge word because the go word usually happens before the charge word does. So here are some examples: explain, write, tell, research, share, create, express, inform, describe. And as I mentioned last week, all of our prompts so far and the ones for the next coming weeks our go word is going to be write. Alright, so our charge words, they are different than go words. They usually tell us what we will be going to do. So if they're asking us to write, they might ask us to write why, write about, write the importance of, explain the significance, tell the effects of, write solutions for, express how. So they're going to tell us how we're going to be using our go word. So the charge word comes after the go word. And if you need to, stop on these slides to kind of look at them, compare them to the prompt of the week to make sure that you get that poly question right. You can absolutely pause the video to make sure that you are getting all of those words and that you are making sure you're identifying them correctly in the prompt, because really nobody should be getting the poly question wrong, because the answers are always here for you in the video. Okay, moving on to topic words. This is the last part of the prompt that tells us exactly what we're going to be writing about. So if they're asking us to write, we need to know what the topic is. If we're going to write about something, we want to know exactly what the topic might be. And these are just some examples: memories, family, friends, animals, school, traveling, events, food, and technology. So last week we were writing about our favorite place in Texas. So that might include traveling if it's not here in the hometown. It might include, you might have even used some examples that talked a little bit about events or maybe the food that you eat there when you visit a different city. So these are definitely helpful topics that we will be noticing in every single prompt in every single week. So no matter what prompt we use, it's going to fall under one of these topics. And just by looking at this list, I want you to, after we shape the prompt, I want you to come back and try to figure out which one of these is our topic for this week. Okay, without further ado, let's go ahead and shape the prompt. Make sure you have your pencil ready. Let's go ahead and go through the steps before we start shaping. Let's start right here at read. Read the information in the box below. President John F. Kennedy once said, "Man is still the most extraordinary computer of all." Okay, so it seems like he's talking about computers and, humans. Usually when somebody says man, they don't just mean men or males. They just mean humans in general. So that's what he means there. He's basically saying humans are the most extraordinary computer of all. Okay, so now let's think about your experiences with computers. Oh my gosh, this is amazing because I know almost every single student has used a computer before. And I don't want you to just limit it to a laptop or a desktop computer. I want you to think about computer as also being a tablet or a cell phone with internet and camera. Because think about it, guys, a computer has internet and you can search things online. You can certainly do that with a phone or a tablet. So I want you to think about your experiences with computers. Take a few moments to think about that. Okay, now let's move on to write. Write about ways computers are helpful but limited in what they can do. Very interesting. So what this means is they want us to think about how computers help us, but also recognize there are certain things that they can't do. That's what the word limited means. Limited means that it can do so much, but it can't do everything. So that's what they're asking us to write about. They want us to think about all the ways computers can help us, but also the ways that they cannot help us. So let's begin shaping our prompt. So let's look at our go words. Oh, like I mentioned, it's going to be the word write. So write is there already. Now, our charge words. Since this list is very short, let's go back to the presentation. Okay. Make sure you have your prompt in front of you and you're following along. Let's see, is the word why in there? No, it's not. Is the word about there? Yes, it is. So go ahead and put a box around the word about. They want us to write about ways computers are helpful but limited in what they can do. And now, like I told you before, we're going to come back to the topic page. Which topic does this prompt fall under? Is it memory? Is it animals? Is it food? It's technology. So let's go back to the prompt. Okay, so we're going to circle, write about ways computers are helpful but limited in what they can do. Wow, that's a really long topic, but we need to circle all of it. Go ahead and turn to the next page, and we are going to fill out the 3 boxes right here. So our go word was, what was it? It was right. Okay, they want us to write about, and I'm going to add ways because that's what they asked us. Write about ways, and to make a long topic short, I'm going to put computers help but are limited. Okay, computers can help, but they are limited. So make sure you fill out those boxes right now. If you need to pause the video to fill them out, go ahead and do that. Okay, so now, brainstorming. So, okay, brainstorming can be fun. It can also be a little bit challenging, right? So what I hope my videos do for you guys is help you come up with ideas for your own writing. So I want you to use the way that we're talking about this on the video, I want you to use this as a helpful guide to help you with your own experiences with computers. So I'm going to write some ideas down. On my first bullet point, I'm going to put that computers keep us connected. They can keep us connected, like especially right now, while we are, during this time of uncertainty, we're still connected. We're still having our classes. We're still learning. We're still keeping in touch. We're having conversations. We're chatting. So we're still connected, and that's thanks to the computer. Without the computer or phone or tablet or laptop, we wouldn't be able to be this connected. So the computers help us stay connected, but we are not in person. So I have some friends, and I'm just going to use a different example where this is true. I have some friends that I grew up with, in school, but they moved away. And so although we can stay connected online, we don't get to hang out in person because we don't live close to each other. So this is one way that computers can help us, but they are limited in what they can do. They can keep us connected, but we're not in person. So that's one thing that we can do. So let's think about another one. I can watch or listen to music. However, I can't listen live in person. So if you notice, both of these can be reasons for the same topic. I can't be there in person because I can stay connected, but I can't be there in person. I can watch music, but I can't be there in person. So this is one strategy that you could use. You could say, computers allow us to do some things like stay connected or listen and watch music, but I can't be there in person. The only way I can experience hanging out with somebody is by being there in person. The only way I can experience fully watching the music or listening to it is by being there in person. So these are two ways that computers help us but are limited. So let's see another one that they can help us with. Computers are smart, but they can't understand how we think. So they can try to understand how humans use them, but they still never really be able to understand how we think. So that's another way that computers can help us, because they're smart, but they still can't understand everything. Another thing computers can help us with is research. So previously, before computers and internet, people would have to sit in the library doing their research. And so now that we have computers and internet, we're able to do research a lot quicker. It's so simple. All we have to do is type something in and the answers are there for us, right? Isn't that interesting? People used to actually sit and have to go through the library books and write things down by hand on paper, and sometimes the book wasn't even there because other people had already checked it out. Now we can just research things on the internet. It's so fast these days. Something else that I wrote down was it's faster, but it's not always reliable. Like, the research is faster when you're finding it on the internet, but sometimes it's not always reliable. You always have to check who wrote it, when they wrote it, where does it come from? Is it from a university, someone who is a scientist, or is it somebody who is just writing it and they're at home and they're not really doing research for it? There's nothing to prove that it's correct. So it could be faster, but it's not always reliable. And something else that I was thinking about was that computers load information quickly, but there are many I'm not going to put many there. I'm just going to put there are loading screens. So even though some computers are quick, a lot of times there's loading screens. So another thing is computers are useful, but sometimes they get viruses. So even though your computer can be fast and you can watch music, you can stay connected, they are smart, they research, they load information quickly, all of those things are useful. However, they can still get viruses. So these are just some examples that I started thinking about. I know that some of you guys might have similar things to me, and that's okay, but some of you might have different things. Like maybe yours might involve playing games online. So maybe you like playing games online through a computer, but sometimes they're very laggy, or maybe the connection gets lost, or the screen is too small, or gaming laptops are too expensive. So that's one way that you could kind of make this topic and make this topic your own, and make that personal connection that we've been talking about since last week. Some of the things that you could talk about are, computers are helpful because you can shop online, but nothing, to me personally, nothing beats shopping in person, especially if we're shopping for clothes, because you could buy clothes online, but trying them on is always better, because if you get your clothes online and then they get to your house and they don't fit you, well, it's a lot harder to return them. So that's another way that computers are helpful but limited. You cannot do the things that you want to do on a computer sometimes that you can do when you're in person. So those are just a few brainstorming ideas that are hopefully going to help you get get the gears moving in your mind and start making this topic your own. If you need to, you can always go back in the video, pause it. Maybe I said something you didn't really understand. Maybe something was a little bit confusing. So you can always pause the video, rewind, play it back 1, 2, 3, 10 times, because that's something that you can't do when we're in class. I can say things a few times, but you can't always rewind me in person. So take advantage of that, guys. Take advantage of you being able to stop the video and then just roll it back to the part where you got lost, or roll it back to the part that you got a little bit confused. So that's something you could do while you're at home. You don't have to just play through the video beginning to end and that's it. You can always go back to a part that you didn't understand. Okay. For homework, you will fill out your brainstorming box and narrow it down to 2 or 3 topics, because tomorrow we will begin narrowing down our ideas, testing our topic, and developing our central idea statement. Alright guys, make sure in your free time that you guys are reading AR books and testing. We are so close to the campus goal for Royal Readers, so I really feel like we can definitely make this goal before the end of the year. So make sure you are reading your AR books and testing and doing your very best in your free time. And as always, if you have any questions, please reach out to me. We can talk, we can chat, we can video chat. Just make sure that you let me know, because I won't know if you're struggling with something unless you tell me. Okay guys, I'm here for you, and I hope you have an amazing day. I'll talk to you later. See ya.